Let me take you live now to Ho, where the press conference between the government and the traditional leaders of the Volta region who met earlier about the security situation there is ongoing. Pius Hajide is the Deputy Information Minister. He's speaking now.
Deployments have been made according to the strategy that the security is using to deal with the unfortunate and criminal events of the 25th and the unfortunate arson and related issues that happened at the STC yard here in Ho. Deployments have so far been made to Japon, Hohoi, Aplau, Nkonya Alavanyo, Bando, Oti, in Basa in the Oti region, and Ketekrachi also in the Oti region. Let us recall that there have already been deployments in Basa, Ketekrachi, and in Konya Alavanyo, but those have been reviewed to deal with the current threats. So far, 60 suspected criminals have been arrested and 54 have been remanded. The others are being processed for court. It is worthy of note, ladies and gentlemen, that the Volta Regional House of Chiefs once again denounced the criminal activities that were reported recently, i.e. the blocking of roads, burning of tires, and attack on some police stations, 2 police stations. In fact, the regional house was unanimous in its condemnation and once again committed itself as custodians of the land to a one united and prosperous Ghana made up of the 16 regions and 204 MMDAs as we currently have. The House and the delegation also agreed that continuous dialogue and collaboration between the government and our chiefs and also with the security forces are crucial in the fight ahead. We thank you for your attention. We also thank you for enduring with us. We understand that you have been on the standby since morning for some relevant information, and we hope that we have provided that information. And we thank you. I do not believe that there are any questions, but if there are, we will take a few, and then we can... Alberto, we are advised that this is an ongoing process and not to compromise the operations. The security have advised that those details be kept for now, but rest assured that there are enough men and women, boots on the ground to deal with the threats as have been estimated. Every option is under consideration. Is there a decision made for a curfew at this point? Not that we are aware of. No. No decision has been made about a curfew now. All options remain on the table. MFA. Do we have another mic so we can hardly hear?
My name is MFA Paul. I work with Joy News. Thanks for the opportunity. So I'm asking that there are a number of questions, if you indulge me. So first off, the Regional House of Chiefs that you met with today, they mentioned that they had concerns about how you did not pick intelligence on the hoisting of flags the raising of billboards. It was one of the issues that he had concerns about before you went in there. Did you admit to them that it was a security lapse? And did you assure them that going forward it will not happen again? My second is that they may have been described as hoodlums, criminals, amongst others. But some have also said, including security analysts, that it will be a good time to engage them, to understand what exactly is it. Are you not engaging because you do not know them? But if you know them, who are they? I think you should tell us so we all understand what you're dealing with. And then also to the Volta Regional Minister, I see him here as well, so we can, clarify that. Going around was some news also that you know them and you are a friend of these people. Some of them have said that they know you very well. Should we dismiss it? And why should we dismiss it if that is not true? For now, I would want to leave it there. But the chiefs also, a little bit whispered to us whilst the meeting was going on that they had concerns about some comments and attacks from members of the government and members of the party, the governing NPP, who have described some Voltarians as not being Ghanaians and all. And that these comments are part of the reason why we will be dealing with what we're dealing with now. What assurances did you give, hoping that some of these people will be called to order? Thank you.
Thank you. MFI, I can assure you that all the concerns that were, and suggestions as well, in fact, there were more suggestions than concerns, but the few concerns that were raised by our revered chiefs were all addressed, and I believe it was addressed to their satisfaction. Are we engaging with these individuals who are engaged in criminal activity? The position is that this is a criminal activity that involves arson, blocking of roads, illegal gathering, training in military skills and tactics are all offenses under the laws of the land, and it will be irresponsible for the states to be engaging with criminals. They will be seen and treated as criminals. If any other person has any other concern and wants to engage in a legitimate manner, government is ever ready to engage with anybody who has any concern from any part of the country, doing so within the remits of the law and without engaging in criminality. You asked a comment, you made a comment. I will defer to the regional minister on that one. But you also said that a bird whispered to you from the closed door meeting that was being held between the government delegation and the Regional House of Chiefs. I am unable to comment to or respond to whispers of birds, but let me assure you, MFA, that whatever concern that anybody had during the meeting was adequately addressed. But as a matter of general knowledge, we know that there have been some comments in times past about some comments that some persons within the Volta region have found quite offensive. But let us also recall, even when those comments were made, some were made long before, for instance, this administration assumed power. How come we can now go back into the days of yore and revisit those comments that were made years back as a justification for current day criminal activity? Is a matter that beats the imagination of some of us. But rest assured that any concern that any member of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs had was adequately addressed and to their satisfaction. Regional Minister.
Thank you very much. MFI, you know that I got posted to the Volta region in 1986. So I've been working in the Volta region for 34 years now. And I was in Uraura, Jessica, and posted to Ho in 1989. So 1989 till now is 31 years. So a lot of people, there are only very few people in Ho who don't know me. I've been a practicing doctor here. I have patients who are children who are married now. So I've been here for years. So nobody, it's not surprising anybody if if people say they know me, because they will know me. But whether or not I know them as criminals, that is something that you don't know. I mean, you see people, they come to your hospital, they have friends, they come to the shop, they come to the hotel, oh, doctor, oh, you know them. But you don't know what they do at night. You don't know what they do in secret. You will not know. So if they claim they know me, fine. If they claim I know them, fine. But I don't know, I wouldn't know the criminal activity they are engaged in. So as far as Wesley Togoland is concerned, it was on 6 March 2017, a few days after we took office, the MPP took office, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo took office, and that was our first independence parade. And they showed up. So they showed up and we were arrested. So I've had to deal with them, together with RESEC and security agencies. We've had to deal with these people since March 2017. How come it is only now that they claim they know me or I know them, or I sponsor them or I'm their financier? So they didn't know from 2017. It's unfortunate, but I am also ready to take action against anybody who comes out openly to accuse me of that. So those people who were shown on D1 TV, would like to know them, and would like the station to come out with the names of the people and where they are, so that I meet them in court. Because this is defamation of somebody's character, and a reputation that I've taken years to build cannot just be destroyed by criminals. And I also don't understand the TV station, because things like this should not even be permitted on our radio stations or TV stations. So for a TV station to air a production with the people's backs to the camera and making claims that could not be substantiated and to come out with it, it's also unfortunate. And appropriate action will be taken by my lawyers if I'm so advised. But the other issue is that there was also another video of somebody interviewed. These people, this one that I saw, they were interviewed in the bush. But here there's another one that they were interviewed in the studio. But with the person's face or the head cut off. I haven't seen that yet, but I've been informed that is also in circulation. And I think it's unprofessional for any journalist or any media house to engage in such a conduct, because it is just trying to defame somebody's character, and I read politics into it. I am MPP, and I'm committed to the MPP. I'm committed to the president and the government of Ghana. And if some people find that offensive, I'm sorry. But the fact of the matter is that I have nothing to do with these people. I don't know them. I don't know them, and I think that my integrity will not allow me. I mean, my conscience will not allow me to engage with any group that I know is trying to secede from this country, because my loyalty and commitment to the Republic of Ghana is 100%, and I cannot join hands with people who engage in fruitless ventures like these people are doing. So, MFR, I've also heard that people have called me. People are concerned. Some lawyers have even offered their services, but I'm still being advised. So at the appropriate time, you hear the outcome. But I want to clear the air that it is absolutely false. It is just a deliberate, malicious allegation to tarnish my image, because I've headed a RESEC that has been after them for 4 years now. But so that is, I think I've answered.
Yeah, thank you very much. And as we are at it, let us put on record, and the government again wishes to strongly advise the media that in these times we must be circumspect in our reportage and report on happenings with a view to keep our country united and with a view to assisting security agencies to root out criminality from within our body politic. Whatever the motivation may be, we think that it is just not right that our conduct as media will seek to give oxygen to the activities of individuals who are clearly engaged in criminality. We thank you for your understanding.
Thank you very much. I'm Faisal Idrisu, GH1 TV. Please, I'd like to know, other than Japon and the other places you mentioned, the other places you mentioned other than Japan, the deployment done there, is it also in relation with the current situation, or it has to do with something different? Then again, I want to know if government has a fair idea of the total population of these groups currently, as in how far they have gone with their recruitment.
Thank you. Deployments into Japan, Hohwe, Aflao, Mando are all in reaction to the recent threats, and that is it. There have been ongoing military activity in Nkonya, Alavanyo, Basa, and Ketekrachi, but even those have been reviewed and their numbers increased. The numbers involved are matters that are still under investigation, and we would like for it to remain so for now. When we do make a determination as to the timing to put that information out, you will be advised. At the moment, these are matters that are under investigation. We would not like to compromise the investigations.
Before Mary comes in, we also want to appeal to the radio stations, the call-ins and the comments. You are the moderators. So when people call in and they start making certain comments or remarks that would adversely affect the security of our country, I think we should stop them. We should stop them. We have to control. And those people, I hear some of them, this group, they issue some statements and leave some telephone numbers. And I hear some media houses call them for information. It is illegal. It is illegal. You can be taken on by the police. If you engage in interviews with criminals, you may be taken on by the police. So the regional crime officer is there, and we just want to advise that never entertain them. Some have been coming on radio as pastors and quoting scripture and just to foment trouble. So we advise the radio station to also be circumspect with the kind of calls they receive. When the person begins to talk, you know whether he's talking sense or he's talking rubbish. So the person must be.
Thank you very much. Please, let's take the advice. I think that in good faith, it's not an attempt to censure the media. You have to operate within your editorial discretions, but the word of advice is in the national interest, and let's look at it as such.
We have not taken these things very lightly. The GJA National has also issued a caution in recent times. And among ourselves, there have been some dialogue to ensure that we continuously remind ourselves of our responsibility, first of all, to our nation and to the sovereignty of this country and to the citizens of this country. And so we want to assure you that we are not relenting on the efforts to ensure that.
As a live press conference ongoing in Ho, you had the Deputy Information Minister speak, as well as the Volta Regional Minister. MFR Power is still on the ground for us to bring us a report on the highlights. But as you heard, there have been deployments of security across the board. But I won't bore you with all the details. You've heard them already.